Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to give you 10 latest defense updates. Number 1, hypersonic missile defense to be integrated into Operation Sudarshan Chakra. Sources have informed that hypersonic missile defense will form a critical component of Operation Sudarshan Chakra, India's ambitious multi-layered air and missile defense initiative announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in August 2025. While Project Kusha, DRDO's indigenous long-range surface-to-air missile system, incorporates an M2 interceptor with hypersonic interception capabilities. These are primarily geared toward tactical ballistic missiles that achieve speeds exceeding Mach 5 during re-entry phases. Next, Lockheed Martin outlines India's assembly plan for C-130J. Lockheed Martin has outlined a phased manufacturing and sustainment strategy for the C-130J Super Hercules in India. Should the aircraft be selected for future Indian requirements, senior company officials have indicated that initial assembly of a portion of the Indian fleet would be carried out in the United States, with production gradually transitioning to a dedicated facility in India, reinforcing the company's long-term commitment to local industrial participation. According to Lockheed Martin, if chosen, the first set of aircraft would be assembled at its Marietta plant in Georgia, which currently serves as the global production hub for the C-130J. As the program matures, assembly work at the remaining aircraft would shift to a new manufacturing facility in India. The location of this Indian facility would be determined in consultation with and according to the preferences of the Government of India. Next, Raghu Vamsi unveils RV Maya 300, indigenous twin turbojet combat UAV. The Aerobot Deep Tech division of Hyderabad-based Raghu Vamsi Aerospace Group has showcased the RV Maya 300, a fully indigenous twin turbojet powered unmanned combat aerial vehicle capable of reaching speed of up to 450 km per hour and operating at altitudes of 8 km. Powered by twin 40 kgf micro turbojet engine developed in-house, the RV Maya features a sleek fighter-like design with a distinctive red and white color scheme, bubble canopy, and low wing configuration for advanced maneuverability. The platform supports catapult launches, enabling rapid deployment from forward bases or naval vessels. Next, Almaz Ante to partner Indian firm for S-400 MRO facility. Russia's Almaz Ante, the manufacturer of the S-400 Triumph long-range air defense system, is set to collaborate with an Indian firm to establish a dedicated maintenance, repair, and overall facility in India. The move is aimed at significantly reducing India's dependence on foreign entities for sustainment of one of its most critical air defense assets while improving system availability and life cycle support. The proposed MRO facility is expected to become operational by 2028 and will provide in-country support for the Indian Air Force S-400 systems. Once established, the facility will be capable of handling routine maintenance, repairs, and overhauls of the key subsystems, reducing turnaround times and eliminating the need to send equipment abroad for servicing. Next, Lotus Advanced Technology secures contract for ESA Maritime Patrol radars for Indian Navy Dornier fleet. Lotus Advanced Technologies has achieved a major milestone after being awarded a contract worth over 640 crore by HAL Transport Aircraft Division for the supply of advanced active electronically scanned array maritime patrol radar system. The radars will be integrated on the Indian Navy's Dornier 228 aircraft, significantly enhancing the Navy's maritime surveillance, reconnaissance, and coastal security capabilities. The contract is being executed under a strategic partnership between LAT and Israel's IAI ELTA, a globally recognized leader in advanced radar and sensor technologies. Under this collaboration, the ESA MPR system will be customized, integrated, and operationalized to meet the Indian Navy's specific maritime operational requirement, including long-range surface search, target tracking, and improved situational awareness in complex littoral and open sea environments. Next, Prime Toolings eyes hypersonic design development by 2030. Prime Toolings has revealed ambitious plans to enter the hypersonic propulsion domain, targeting the development of a hypersonic engine by the year 2030. The announcement was made by the company through a post on social media platform X, signaling its intent to position itself within one of the most complex and strategically significant areas of advanced aerospace engineering. According to the company, Prime Toolings is already engaged in evaluation activities and has initiated collaboration with select defense public sector undertakings, while the names of these DPSUs have not been disclosed. Next, Manik engine-based long-range cruise missiles set for Army and Navy. It has been learned from the sources that India's next-generation long-range land attack cruise missile and long-range anti-ship missiles program, both powered by indigenous Manik turbofan engine, are progressing steadily and are expected to be ready for induction into the Indian Army and Indian Navy within the next 3 years. Both missile systems are subsonic cruise missiles designed around a common propulsion and core architecture, allowing multiple variants to be fielded for different operational roles. According to sources, the land attack variant intended for the Indian Army has already completed key flight tests, demonstrating the maturity of the design and propulsion system. In parallel, the submarine-launched cruise missile variant has also undergone testing, indicating that the missile family is being developed with tri-service deployment flexibility in mind. Next, India's first full-spectrum bistatic RCS measurement facility. In a major leap toward genuine indigenous stealth technology, the DRDO is putting the finishing touches on India's first fully indigenous full-spectrum bistatic radar cross-section, that is RCS, measurement facility at its Aeronautical Development Establishment complex in Bengaluru. Unlike older monostatic ranges that only measures radar returns from the same direction as the transmitter, the new facility will employ true bistatic geometry with transmitter and receiver physically separated by up to several hundred meters. Next, Israel looks to India to rebuild defense supply chains. With several European countries imposing restrictions on the supply of military subsystems to Israel, Tel Aviv is reassessing the resilience of its defense supply chains and moving to reduce its dependence on Europe. While many European states are not direct suppliers of complete Israeli weapons platforms, they remain critical sources for key subsystems, components, and technologies. The tightening of export controls has therefore emerged as a strategic concern for Israel, even as some of the same European countries continue to place orders for Israeli defense systems for their own armed forces. The emerging disconnect where European government procure Israeli weapons while simultaneously restricting the export of components used in those systems has reinforced Israeli concerns over supply chain vulnerability. For Israel, which operates under persistent security pressure and compressed response timelines, any disruption in access to critical subsystems carries direct operational risk. As a result, Israeli defense planners and industry leaders are now actively exploring alternative, more dependable manufacturing and sourcing hubs. Next, why India need an IGMDP style national program for drone warfare? Comment. As India concentrates its aerospace ambition on flagship programs such as the Tejas Mk2, the twin-engine deck-based fighter jet, that is TEDBF, and the advanced medium combat aircraft, there is a growing recognition that future conflicts will not be defined by crude platforms alone. Drone warfare, encompassing both unmanned aerial systems and counter UAS technologies, is rapidly emerging as a integrated guided missile development program. Unlike traditional force modernization, drone warfare is not merely about inducting platforms that already exist in the global market. From a military perspective, India must transition from adapting what is available to developing what is operationally required and strategically envisaged. This shift calls for a doctrinal and technological rethinking of how drones can shape and, in some scenarios, even define the modern battlefield across land, air, maritime, cyber, and space-linked domains. Please comment.